Hey fellow car peeps, welcome back to the channel. We're gonna continue working on the wooden wheel. We did good with the actual rim, but don't worry, there's plenty more chances to screw this up by doing the upholstery on the three spokes here that we have on the side. Again, not something I'm usually doing, so we'll have to see how that pans out. But yeah, pretty well happy with the way this turned out. So hopefully we can continue that winning streak with the upholstery part and bring this to a successful end. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way, you know, whenever a new one comes out, as I'm not doing this as frequently as maybe some other people do, at least you get notified and you know that it's happening. Let's get into it. So to start, we had to fill some cracks with some foam. This is a bigger part. I cut these down quite a bit initially, so I had to make sure that I bolstered that back up, and then also on this side. So the back sides, I can now have a spot to tuck between the new foam and the wood steering rim. So I can tuck underneath there in all three spots and get the upholstery under there. And we have to do the same thing in the front of the wheel. I decided to protect the wheel a little bit, put some towels around it, and yeah, that way when I pick it up, set it down, I don't have to worry about the new finish getting damaged. So now what I'm doing is I've got this pre-glued as well as a material here. The material that I'm using is kind of the dimpled material that you see in a lot of modern steering wheels as well. I actually have it in my Explorer. And I'm using a paper template that I made off this area. Pulled that off, then put it on the fabric. I put it on a test piece of fabric that I had just to kind of toy around. And then I transposed that onto the fabric that I'm going to be using. However, I made everything a little bit bigger than this piece just because I want to have extras if I need it. With this one, when I was wrapping it, I was just not happy with what I was seeing. Some areas didn't just have enough coverage. So that's why it's always good to kind of do a trial run with some stuff that you don't really need. That way you don't waste the good material that you have. And so we're just letting this glue dry. I was able to glue this section in place, and that of course houses this piece. So once that is in place and screwed down, it will give a real nice finish. And then what I'm doing right now is I'm wrapping it around the back. So I've got glue over here and in this piece. And this is now drying, waiting for me to wrap it on there. Well, not all roads lead to success. I found out after gluing this piece on that the coverage of the foam in between here and here is not enough. We are seeing a gap, which obviously we don't want to see. Kind of frustrated to get that far and then having to pull it all off. But yeah, we just have to implement a little bit more foam around this area so that we can have a non-gap. And I ended up also cutting this piece too short. As you can see, after I glued it on, I started cutting and then I cut too far. And then I had to put another piece on top of that, which looked okay, but not great. So now at least I do have a perfect template. Added some additional foam, both sides, and yeah, cut a new piece from the old piece that I had with the extra on the top. So ready to do the do-over and get gluing again. Well, you know what they say. If first you don't succeed, try again. Third time's a charm. Let's have a look. So for an amateur, I would say that looks pretty good. This piece is gonna get replaced yet. It's got a little chip, and the actual, there's a leg behind here that kind of tucks into a cavity like here that holds it in place. That's broken. So this whole piece is gonna get replaced anyway, but you see it's got nice lines as well as on the back. So I am pretty happy with the way that came out. And we're gonna continue to one of these sides. And there we have the left side done. On to the right side. So we got 2 done, 1 to go. Basically the process that I've been following is once I get the piece made that is going to cover the area that I'm wanting to cover, then I'm actually not gluing this entire thing at once. In the past, that's probably what I would have tried to do and try to work as fast as possible and try to make it work, but the glue dries quick and then you got problems. So what I've been doing is just kind of doing this face here and the outsides, letting that set up, glue it together, tuck it, then flip the wheel, and then work on the back side and do the wings and fold those in. So that's what we're gonna do here again too. The first one took me 3 tries, this one took me 2 tries, so hopefully this will be golden when we try it. Do it once and do it right. As mentioned, upholstery is not my forte necessarily, but you know, again, I like to try new things, and yeah, when you try new things and it works out, then at the end of the day you're like, okay, this is something I can do, and then that makes it fun. If it's not going as well, then of course it can be frustrating too, but sort of past that point now. So this glue is heat resistant, and that's a key thing. I went to see an upholsterer, and that's a tip that he gave me, is that you need heat resistant glue. Of course, when you're inside the car on a hot summer day with the windows closed, it's going to be pretty warm in the car, as we all know. So it's important that that glue can withstand all that heat that you're throwing at it, and that's why you have to have the heat resistant glue. I remember in my other car that I built, there was some issue there with the headliner. I didn't have that particular glue. Went well for a while, but over a long period of time I started getting some sags that I had to re-glue, unfortunately. Alright, so kind of touching the glue, you can feel that it's starting to get dry, and that's the point where you want to start acting and start installing. So you kind of tuck it in all the crevices, and then push it into all the areas that you want to be nice and smooth. And then you can have a look here. So it looks like we got plenty of material there. Much to tuck it, so probably gonna take a little bit off. A good sharp knife is helpful when it comes to that. It's better to have a little little bit extra material that you can take off versus not having enough and struggling to cover. So I'm holding the internal piece here, and then I can take the little tool and start tucking in the edge. Done, kind of put the controls in place that helps keeping your material where it needs to be, and then you can kind of move on from there. So now one at a time, you can start doing the edges. One thing that, because I'm not a professional upholsterer and I do not have like a sewing machine and those kind of things in order to put these things nicely together, what I've done with the edges is just make a straight overlap. And because this is the bottom of the steering wheel, I'll tuck this side first, let that one overlap down as deep as I can get it, and then make the overlap there. So that's kind of my solution to that issue. So start putting some more glue on. To see how we can because it seems like we got a lot of material there, and on the other side I believe I took a little bit of that material off, otherwise there's too much to tuck. So again, we're gonna use the knife, take that and cut some of that off. When it gets ready, you have to tuck around the corner. We have overlaps. Tuck is in, and wrap around the other side. Tuck it underneath, and then we have to cut some in the center once we get so exactly where we want it. This here has some of the same little legs that go inside to hold it in place. So we make sure that those are cleared. That's why we have to take the material off. Tuck that down. In good shape with that one. See, the bottom part is starting to shape nicely, just like the opposite side. Now we got to repeat that for the top side. Again, probably a little bit much material here in the corner. I'm going to take a smidge off of that. And then flip it. Open it up for the glue. Right there, yeah, that looks good. So we'll start the gluing process. Alright, so we're going to let this set up. Alright, glue is dry. Around, push it down, and we'll start tucking around the corner here. Tuck. We can flip it over and continue on the other side. Nicely tied in. And then we complete the tuck. Off of this. Tuck. And then we have that overlap over here again that we need to take care of because we need to have that little holes exposed for plate. There they are. So that's a pretty good tuck. And here's where you can see where I was talking about the overlap. So basically the only thing that you'll see from that overlap is that little piece over there, because the cover is gonna come around here. So that's the only thing that you'll see there. Very minimal, not something that I'm worried about. The next step is to get the paddle shifters back in. So the paddle shifters go in from behind. There's a little hook. You hook underneath. They kind of fall into the cavity where they have to sit. And there's one screw that holds that in place. That's the upshift, the plus, and of course we have to do the same thing for the downshift, the minus. Line the hole up. Okay, as you can see, the downshift has a black and the upshift has a gray connector. That comes back later when we get to the wiring harness to make sure that you get the right wiring in the right spot. Same goes for these two. This one is gray, that one's green. So when we know these things, that also gives an indication of the orientation of the wiring harness. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna put the top cover on, and that's basically held on with 2 screws. So I have to take the cover back off as I forgot to put the wiring harness in. Sort of important. So that's in place now. And then we go back to what we were talking about earlier. We have a gray connector here and a gray connector. We have a paddle shifter that clicks right in. And we have a black one here and a black one here. There we go. That's better. All right, and then we have the 2 connectors left. One is for the top piece, one is for the bottom piece. This one has a gray connector, this one has a black connector, this connector is also bigger. Now the bottom one needs to go on first because it actually, this right here sits over top of that. And then the next piece sits on top of that and covers it up. But there's one screw right there that we need to get to before we do that. So let's put that screw in there. So that basically secures this part to the steering wheel. Well, maybe it'd be easier if I take that back out. That's weighing a lot. Let me turn around. Do it. Screw back in. Same thing on the other side. This time we will put the connector in first. Here. Takes care of those controls. Gray goes to gray. Put those pieces in. Now that becomes a nice unit again. So put everything back together. Apparently the camera wasn't rolling for some of it. One thing to remember is that 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the screws with the washer built into them because they have bigger holes that they got to cover. And then the rest is all the smaller screws. These 2 have a silver screw behind here. That's where the 2 silver screws go. And then of course now we have to top it off with the airbag. Let's see what that looked like, and we'll take the covering off. I'm super pumped at the way this came out. Man, look at this thing. The way the wood rim came out, the upholstery, and the way that this is all tied together. Really, really super. Now, it's gonna be a while before this ends up in here, of course, but I'm really happy that I got it done and that the way it turned out is this good. Something that you guys can do at home. Hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. You want to undertake something like this. I do believe this is the only one S550 steering wheel in the world that has a wood steering rim like this. And yeah, that's pretty neat. Hopefully you guys will pick up on this and do something like this yourself. See you on the next one.